let's take a look at how early in the game the pins might occur. In fact, very often from the very beginning of the game, the pins, they start to play the most vital role in forming the course of the game. In fact, many openings are based on the usage of pins and on unpinning and so on. So as an example, okay, let's start at the very beginning. So say e4, e5, knight f3. And now one of the most popular openings at the moment is knight f6. And now we see how early it might actually come to the importance of pinning and unpinning. Knight takes e5, d6, knight f3, knight takes e4, queen e2. This, in fact, is a perfect pin. The knight on e4 is completely immovable. That is, black has to do something about protecting it without being able to run away. And now we see that the most natural ways to protect the knight will actually lose it. So for instance, d5, d3, the classic usage of the pin. The pinned piece is attacked and cannot move. The same will happen after any other normal way to protect, like bishop f5, d3, or say f5, d3 will bring about the same result. And so black has to protect the knight and at the same time to unpin it, which he can only reach by playing queen e7. And this is one of the major unpinning techniques. Black is introducing another piece on the file and thus makes the knight mobile again. And now after the attack, the knight is free to go, since there is no longer a pin on the e file. And now, in fact, white will have to either exchange queens or proceed in some other manner. Once again, I anticipate that quite a number of you will say, okay, we know all this is elementary, but just bear with me for a second and I will show you another game played on the highest level. In fact, black pieces were played by Vishy Anand, and in this particular position after knight c3, but it was okay a long time ago, he played bishop f5, and after queen e2 had to resign, since there is no way to protect a pinned knight on e4. The same trick as before, black knight is hanging and white is threatening to take it with knight e4. After normal move like d5, d3 will win the knight, and after queen e7, which used to be our recipe, white recreates the pin by playing knight d5. Now e7 is attacked, c7 is also attacked. Black cannot go queen e6 because of knight e7, so he has to leave the e file, and now d3 will again win a piece. So you see how important pins are in a real tournament practice, that even players of grandmaster strength can sometimes oversee or maybe ignore the presence of the pins, or maybe miss to recognize the pattern. So we have to watch out for pins all the time, and one of the purposes of this particular lesson is to try to help you in recognizing the pins, to try to give you certain experience in recognizing the patterns, so that when they occur in your own practice, you will not have difficulties in dealing with them or using pins to actually win the game.